Okay, let's get back to our time tonight with Terrible Tim. The good news today was out of eastern Ukraine, where freedom still lives, perhaps precariously, to Kiev. Sukhoi 25s were shot down, allegedly by manpads, shoulder-fired missiles. We don't know for sure. They were claimed to have been flying at, I believe, 17,000 feet, which is within the range of those. It's the outer limit, but they can be hit. At any rate, 2 were taken down. Pilots ejected. We don't know what their condition is. They are killers. Just following orders, but they're killers nonetheless. The other story that was of interest, and I cannot verify it, was that up to 15,000 Russian troops now are either at the border or very near the border, and they're spread out in small groups so as not to be a major sitting duck target. That's very encouraging. And as I said before, 3 times Vladimir Putin has swore to the people of East Ukraine he would not let harm befall them by the Kiev Zionist fascists. He has not followed through on his word. It is the 11th hour. It is not too late. Now, I may be oversimplifying this, and I'm sure there is much going on behind the scenes that we will never know about. That does not preclude Vladimir Putin from moving in and stopping the carnage and the bloodshed. He should do it as a humanitarian gesture, as a moral gesture, and as a world leader of alleged great statesmanship. When you look at the clown Kerry next to Putin, you want to puke. So that's where we are right now. The 2 fighter jets, they all need to be brought down. Russia could do it. They have several air bases in Crimea. They could impose a no-fly zone over everything east of the Dnieper River, and they could make it stick. Real simple. That would equalize things to a large degree on the ground. And then there would have to be a way to neutralize the Kiev killers and their there are 2 mercenary armies mixed in there that are being financed by these, allegedly financed by the billionaires, the oligarchs. In addition to this, there are mercenaries there quite clearly involved in the killing. And now Obama is formally announcing he's going to send American advisors over there. Where this goes, I don't know, but it can't continue the way it is. And honestly, if Donetsk and Lugansk are overrun with these killers and mercenaries, and Putin does not step in, it will forever brand his Russia as a coward nation, a betrayer of peoples, and basically it'll ruin their credibility. That'll be the end of it. Hopefully that won't happen. We all want to believe that there is still some good in the world, and good in the world stops genocide. It stops the slaughter of innocent civilians. Good will stop that. So there we are. What do you see happening? How much longer will this go on?
Well, look at Gaza. That's been going on repeatedly. 20 years.
Since 1947.
No, I mean the attacks on Gaza.
Correct.
The chief correspondent of Al Jazeera, he was here 20 years ago watching the same thing. So, right. Of course, the only difference is now that the model has been imported from the third world to the white world. And we see with Putin, as I said, he'd run away like a craven dog and do nothing, which I stated he'd do. And exactly as I stated... You
were correct, unfortunately.
I know. I was the only one. We had the Sky News doing a special about Russia taking over half the country, BBC talking the same way, RT talking bullishly, Al Jazeera talking bullishly, and I was the only one saying, no, it'll run away like a scared dog, because, of course, he's controlled by psychic warfare and is just a glove puppet of the Zionists. And, of course, exactly happened. So we know if we're going to follow the Zionist model, then Luhansk and Donetsk will be overrun. There'll be the British model, which, of course, secret trials. They'll be carted off to secret prisons where the School of America's electrodes will be in every orifice, and they'll end up in some occult Jewish grave where all the Jews have done their rituals on them, and they'll be forgotten, and you can't report on them, because like Britain, Ukraine will have the British model, which is secret trials, secret prisons, secret deaths, because remember, we haven't talked about the other part of the British system, which is now we've got the Zionist Jew, Cameron, in charge, with his Jewish buddies, Osborne and the rest. We've not only got the secret trials, the secret prisons, but we've got the secret deaths in prison, which of course can't be reported, can they, Jeff? Because if they can't report on your trial, they certainly can't report on your torture and murder in a British secret prison, imported to the Ukraine, with the Ukrainian Russians carted away, secret trial, secret torture in secret prisons, and then secret graves, which of course happened in Argentina, Chile, Nicaragua, Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador. So we know exactly what's going to happen. All the Russians are going to be carted off, the males, all accused of being terrorists, because remember, in Britain, anyone who has a secret trial is automatically a terrorist. Same thing in the Ukraine, the British model. They'll be terrorists, and they'll all be in the graves after they've been tortured to death in a British model prison. Because remember, the British came up with concentration camps, and now we've got the British model for the white world, which is secret trial, secret prison, secret torture, secret death, which of course we can see happening in the Ukraine, where they've carted away all the males from the towns that they've occupied, and we haven't heard a word about them, because of course it's the British model. And we know with Putin, obviously he's worried about his 100, 200 billion vanishing, and of course he doesn't realize in the long term that now he's left the Russians to die, like the Palestinian Authority. We're going to get a schism, because remember, Hamas split with the Palestinian Authority, because the Palestinian Authority didn't go along with armed struggle against the Israelis, but actually was the lapdog of the Israelis, which caused a split in the Palestinians. And we see in Russia there's going to be a split between Slavic Russians who want to go in and kill the Jews, the British model Ukrainian government, and the Zionist Jews, Medvedev, the oligarchs, obviously Putin, Lavrov, who want to do what the Palestinian Authority does, which is rub their hands like Pontius Pilate and watch while the Slavic Russian Ukrainians get nailed to the cross in a secret prison in the Ukraine by the Zionists Poroshenko and Ratsenyuk. So one could see now the downfall of Putin is quite simple. He's going to lose support from the Slavs, and it doesn't matter if he's got all the support of the rich Jews that own Russia, because of course, as you know, the only way you're going to get rid of Putin is a palace coup, which of course will be done by white Slavs in the Kremlin, quietly and behind the scenes. So one can see that he's chosen his Jewish buddies. Abramovich is his best mate. Medvedev, another Jew, his best mate. And of course, obviously, this then breeds division, as we saw with the Palestinians, between the Palestinian Authority, who are just sycophants of the Jew, enablers of the Jew, and Hamas, who in fact realize the only dialogue you have with Netanyahu, with Cameron, with Poroshenko, with Kerry, Newland, the only dialogue they understand is one of extreme violence. If you kill enough of them, then you get your way. So simply put, I never got out of the country, never survived, unless I released psychicwarfare.com and attacked Cameron's babies, his children, made sure that he was on the front line of the battlefield. So if he wants to give me a secret trial, then people are going to be using the protocols on my website to kill his children. That means I get out of the country. The same with the Ukraine. if you go after not the Ukrainian military, but Poroshenko and Ratsenyuk, and you send in special forces or aircraft to blow them up, then immediately, overnight, you get a cessation of hostilities. You don't fight, as you're saying, the conventional. You just go to Kiev and you just take out the entire government, blow them to pieces,
right.
The Hamas way.
It sounds,
that way, immediately...
I've read similar.
Yeah, that way immediately the war's over, because remember, the war isn't being run by the Ukrainians, it's been run by the Zionist Jew, the Camerons, the Netanyahus, which now have cloned into Poroshenko and Ratsenyuk. Is it a coincidence, Jeff, that the president and prime minister of the Ukraine are Jewish?
Shocker.
Is it a coincidence that secret trials suddenly appear in Britain when you have a Jewish prime minister?
Another shocker.
Is it strange that the Gaza template suddenly appears in Britain and in the Ukraine?
That's
exactly.
Right there.
The same thing.
The same black hand pulling the same strings. Hold on a minute. We'll take a break. Come right back. Stephen Walt, very courageous.
This is the worst nightmare of the Jews because, of course, from Sochevanov, a Russian researcher from 1966, psychic warfare only needs one thing to work, which is hatred. And the Fatah Palestinians simply aren't enabled to use psychic warfare. You've got to get into my state where you're going to kill Cameron's children, you're going to release the information to kill every Jewish baby on the planet via the Russian research, and the only dialogue you have with them is killing them. This hatred then allows you, according to Russian research, Sochevanov, from the Ostrander Schroeder book, the chapter on dowsing, allows you then to use psychic warfare and basically do whatever you like to other people. So one can see that this would happen, but since, of course, this material has been released and publicized, and I'm going to have the secret trial soon, hopefully, then, of course, the Palestinians will catch on that their little rockets don't work, but if they start using psychic warfare to kill millions of Israelis, then, of course, the game's up. The same with, this is the real fascinating thing. The Russians discovered this stuff. They know they can kill Poroshenko and Ratsenyuk using this stuff anytime they like, but they don't. This, of course, posits the question, why aren't the Russians using their own research to silently, deniably kill enemies of the Russian Federation? There's only one explanation, isn't there, Jeff? We've got the same explanation as World War II, where we had Stalin, Churchill, Hitler, and Roosevelt, all Jews, running an organized operation for Zion. The only explanation is that Putin, Lavrov, and Medvedev and the rest are in the pockets of the Rothschild Jew and are running a Rothschild Jew operation. There's no other explanation, because the Russians have the technology to silently and deniably kill Poroshenko, Ratsenyuk, silently and deniably kill large numbers of Ukrainian soldiers, silently and deniably drop Russian-built aircraft out of the air. They don't need to send fighters in to ground the
That's right.
old.
That's right.
They can basically use electronic jamming and all the other stuff we talked about to drop them out of the air silently and deniably. They're not. So there's only two explanations. Either Putin and Lavrov are the glove puppets of the Rothschild, Medvedev.
Makes you think about it. Hold on, Tim.Hold your thought right there.
They're building up a bloodbath to give themselves the excuse to go into Ukraine. One or the other.
One can hope they move in. One can hope. We've been hoping that for many weeks. Be right back. Hold on.
I wouldn't bank on it if I was you, Jeff.
Not banking. Nope.